dentist to remain anonymous and puts the dental hygienist at a distinct advantage or disadvantage. The first thing when looking at such an ad, one should ask themselves, what is the dentist, or who's the dentist, and what are they looking for to hire, and what's this person's reputation? If the dentist chooses to remain anonymous in the ad, then that could imply that they do not wish prospective employees to know their reputation. You might find yourself applying for positions at an office that doesn't hold to your expectations. This is not to say that all newspaper ads are dishonest. There are many that are honest when describing their practice. Prospective employees, therefore, should still use the newspaper as a resource when looking for a job because one may find that right position. There's always a diamond in the rough. Keep in mind those dentists who have a difficult time trying to find employees might repost the same advertisement and position desired. Consider the reasoning as to why they keep reposting these ads. Is it the location? Is it the dentist? Is it the environment? Why is it not attractive to hygienists, and why are they not staying? Be sure to ask around. There are many dentists and hygienists that know a lot. Also, one may look into the classified sections in the back of magazines. Some ads may be targeted for underpopulated and underserved areas. An exotic place or a new challenge might just be the right thing for you. And it's a great way to also get experience. Be sure to do your research on the areas that they advertise, just because there might be some financial obligations or reasons that that you would want to go there for, as well as, well, how can I say this? Make sure that there isn't any outstanding financial obligations as to why you want to go there. Temporary placement services may also provide promising job opportunities. Many dental practices will turn to these agencies to help them search for temporary work for their practices. These temporary workers are used as a substitute for a dental hygienist who may be ill or on vacation or pregnant. These temporary positions can turn into permanent positions. This way, the dentist has the advantage of getting to know the individual before he or she can make any further commitments. It's kind of like a trying on clothing kind of thing. It's kind of cool. Make sure to understand the policies of the agency that contacts you when you sign on for a job like this, especially if there are consequences into accepting these jobs, long-term positions. Along with looking into who or what office you may be looking for, one must also look into the different practice settings available, as well as the advantages and disadvantages of those settings. There are various practice settings for the clinical hygienist. Why some go to work in specific areas and not the other depends on the interest of the hygienist. As well as the various clinical practice settings include location, urban versus rural, versus different providers, as in solo and multiple practitioners, as well as the clinical setting, whether it be hospital, community, or private practice. Some advantages by working in a rural area include providing underserved a much needed service, as well as to reduce stress when you live out in rural areas, like less traffic. And some of the disadvantages could be a long commute, as well as working in a small dental team.
Working in an urban environment can provide a short commute to work. However, it could also most likely induce stress from driving to work, hitting traffic. You can be living in a very congested environment, if it's a very metropolitan area. Another advantage, an advantage for working in an urban location can provide the hygienist more variability, when you're recommending products to patients and where they can be bought, whereas if you're in a rural setting and you recommend products, the patient's most likely going to say, well, we just don't have the stores around here to go buy it from the nearest drugstore, so, you're kind of limited to what you give out at the office. Patients can't really go out and buy it from anywhere. Another setting to look at when looking for a job is whether one wants to work with a solo practitioner versus multiple care providers. Solo practitioners can be great in that there can be less clashing with professional opinions and consistent care can be given to patients. However, it doesn't provide an environment for the practitioner to grow professionally because you're not working with, you're working by yourselves. You don't have other colleagues there to bounce ideas off of. Multiple care providers can be beneficial because there are more providers available to treat a bigger patient base, and this results in a successful practice. However, the workplace environment may become congested when there's more providers because everyone's opinions are different, values are different. Lastly, the setting one chooses to work, whether it's hospital and community health or private practice, can also have its ups and downs. Working in a hospital and community health, you can experience more challenging tasks because most of the patients there are medically compromised. But the downside of the hospital community health setting is that, it can be very stressful and hectic, and also the scheduling can be unstable. Your work hours may be unstable. However, the most common practice for hygiene is in private practice. The reason being, you get more flexibility. You have a set schedule. It's not too big of a practice or too small of a practice. It's that perfect area where you can build good rapport with your patients. So that's why some hygienists who appreciate working in those type of areas. Others who appreciate working in challenging tasks might find this, working in private practice repetitive.
And if the hygienist isn't looking to work in the clinical aspect of the practice, there are also different avenues that dental hygienists can explore outside the realm of traditional clinical settings. There are many jobs available that can utilize hygiene clinical skills as well as our professional knowledge. It's such a multifaceted job, that's why we're lucky. A hygienist does not have to be limited only, clinical work. They can go into hospital settings, just like Jill was mentioning. They can work with medically compromised individuals, and they can also become coordinators and service directors for the hospitals. They can also help with veteran affairs and their long-term dental treatments, and they can also go into military work and work on bases as a hygienist. And if that isn't enough, you can also go into correctional facilities and work with patients who are in jail. And this can also be interesting and challenging as well. Hygienists can also go into teaching and go into working at universities or schools within communities. And they could also even help with research and help develop new techniques and educational material. They can also put their creative spins into creating policies and influencing government regulation through lobbying, working for public health departments, as well as becoming lawyers with dental backgrounds. Going into publishing as a hygienist can also become a great way to encourage specific policies because they can encourage reform within their writings. When pertaining to management and sales outlets, dental hygienists may also go into consulting. They can go into selling dental insurance, or they can even go become sales representatives for brand name products like Crest, Colgate, Bufredi, or even Listerine. For the hygienist that wants to go above and beyond, becoming an entrepreneur may also be their calling. They can create traveling dental clinics, or even invent software or computer programs, as well as interesting designs. If this is not enough, becoming a volunteer and working in different countries throughout traveling the world may also be a better fit. Nonprofit organizations may help encourage this taste for travel and be helpful to others in different parts of the world.
Whether a dental hygienist chooses to work in a traditional clinical setting or to venture out in the world like Wendy described, provided the opportunities to better the community, depends on the specific interests of the hygienist. Regardless of where a hygienist works, they still hold a professional responsibility to market themselves as hygienists. Marketing one's career and abilities can describe a lot about a person. It shows character, dedication, and determination. These traits are important when prospective employers are looking to hire because they obviously want someone who's dedicated to what they do and someone who can market themselves and market the practice, their dental practice, and means of increasing its success and reputation.
And that's it. So now that you know all about marketing, for your blog, we have 5 websites for you guys to take a look at and analyze. We have a couple questions for you to answer. And at the end, you can determine if you would, according to the website, would this interest you in being a patient there or even maybe working at that practice. All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Bye.